Good morning. Thank you for joining us today on September 9th, 2025. We're glad to have all of you in the house this morning. I want to call this meeting to order and open us with a word of prayer. If you'll bow your heads. Dear Father, we come together today to seek wisdom and guidance for our community. Lord, we are appreciative of all of our residents and our businesses that support our community and its future growth. And Lord, we just ask for your blessing upon its people. It's in your name. Amen. All right, if you'll join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, at this time we are excited to have a couple of different presentations. So first we'll hear from Restoration Storehouse, and I'd like to invite Dr. Robert Hughes to the podium.
Good morning, Board Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning. Thank you for inviting us today to share an update regarding Restoration Storehouse and where we are in our lifespan. First, I would like to introduce our board and just want to acknowledge them today. Thank you for being here, as well as our partners and staff that have joined us. Going right in, we are now 6 years in operation, and every 3 years, as you may be aware, we report the results of our impact in Rockdale County. And so in July of this year, we submitted a report that indicated our impact, and I would like to present an update that would include our second quarter 25 numbers as well. To acknowledge the work that our partners have contributed to the Rockdale community over the past 3 years, the economic impact number is a little over $17 million based on the work that our partners have completed here in Rockdale County, serving families, particularly families who are working to take active steps out of poverty situations and moving towards more stability and adding more opportunities for household income. That is our number one focus, is to help families be able to find more stability here in Rockdale County, and by doing so, not only meeting the crisis points, but also introducing plans to move forward in a variety of different ways, including going back to school through credential-based programming, education through degree-based programs, as well as moving on a path towards entrepreneurship and putting their ideas into practice into our community. But looking at our partner mix, currently we have 14 partners in Restoration Storehouse. The ones that are represented on the screen today include our core and collaborative partners and their particular measured impact. Going to the categories that represent that number, those categories include family support services, health services, education services, and of course our capital investment. To take a step back, part of our report today is in compliance with the terms of our lease agreement and the sublease that we have with the Development Authority along with the county. And every 3 years, we are asked to generate at least $4,992,000 of economic value to Rockdale County. And so putting that number in context to the number shared earlier, the 17 million, gives you the scale in which we have been able to surpass the work that we've done here in Rockdale County. and it is attributed to the work of our partners, the programs and services that they offer, and the work of those that show up to do that every day. So again, focusing in on those sub numbers of family support services, we had 3.46 million of impact. Those services include eviction avoidance, utilities, clothing and food. Health services totaled 3.9 million, and that includes medical, dental, and services for pregnancy care. And then education services is a huge area for us. That includes early childhood learning in our workforce development programs, and that number was $8.64 million of economic impact over that 3-year period. And I'm sorry, I'm reading from a previous report. If we can go back to that, I can read it into the record. The education services were 8.64 million of economic impact. Health services was 3.95 million, and also 3.6 million for the family support services. And then our capital investment, which are improvements to Restoration Storehouse, build out and the like, was close to $1 million. And so using our totals from this previous 3 years and then the period from 2019 to 2022, we have now contributed a little over $30 million of economic impact over that 6-year span to Rockdale County through Rockdale County residents. I want to lift up a couple samples for us to know specifically how our partners are impacting the community. That sample starts with Mercy Heart.
Dr. Hughes, if you will, when you need the next slide, if you could just say next slide, and the team behind the scenes will move that for you.
Thank you. We'll move to the next slide. Thank you. Mercy Heart Economic Impact. Their impact and services start with a series of medical visits, in-office labs, dental procedures, community paramedicine visits, licensed staff, medical labs, x-rays, patient assistance programs, and diabetes education. So over the span of those 3 years, that grand total came up to $2.98 million. And so we're very proud of the work that Mercy Heart is doing and continue to do here in Rockdale County. Next slide, please. What that looks like in the way of services and visits and persons impacted. On the medical side of things, we have 1,638 visits, 644 individual patients, and as we look at the number of new patients added during that time, it was 267 new patients. On the dental side of the house, we had 1,191 visits, over 3,000 procedures performed, 522 individual patients, 174 new patients added. And then on the community paramedicine side, 862 home visits, 164 individual patients, and it indicates that over 80% of the patients had one or no visits to Piedmont Rockdale during that time on the program. That's an important statistic because part of the work that Mercy Heart engages in is alleviating some of the burden on the emergency services at Piedmont Rockdale. And so having Mercy Heart in place allows for those in our community who are uninsured to be able to have access to health care in a way that moves them on a path towards preventive medicine as opposed to remaining in crisis. And that models the Restoration Storehouse model. How do we meet people in a place of crisis and begin the opportunity of putting together a pathway towards prevention and being able to work with families in that way. Next slide, please. Next slide shows the economic impact and statistics for Refuge Pregnancy Center. They offer services to our community to those who are experiencing pregnancy and need, one, to confirm, and then two, if they need additional assistance, Refuge is in place to offer help with material services such as diapers, formula, food, clothing, And one thing particular that I learned was that when a baby is born and they're in the hospital, they can't leave without a car seat. And they do a tremendous job of helping families who have that need be able to meet that need by providing car seats and allowing for families to start that life together in a whole position. But the impact to Rockdale County over that 3-year period is at $780,094. And so we're thankful for Refuge's work. Next slide, please. That shows more specific numbers as to the volume of persons that were helped on that side as far as Rockdale client visits. That number over the 3-year period was 11,701. Unique clients is 3,309 individuals were serviced. So collectively, our numbers of service across all of our service providers well exceeds over 10,000 plus families over that 3-year period. Next slide, please. This is a demonstration of our partner, WorkSource Georgia. They are in partnership with Atlanta Regional Commission over the period of time from July of 22 to, in this slide, March of 2025. They were able to invest $341,331 into training into Rockdale residents who receive training in various certification programs and move forward into different workforce initiatives. Next slide, please. This represents our Partnership for Community Action. Partnership for Community Action is a community action agency, as they are throughout the state of Georgia. Partnership for Community Action services us here in Rockdale County. These are numbers specific to Rockdale County impact. They offer services that help with mortgage, rental, utility assistance, and they also do intensive case management, which allows for families to enter into educational-based programs that includes GED-based programs, as well as those programs that are offered through ARC WorkSource Georgia. So there is a lot of referral between our partner agencies that allows for long-term relationships with families, which is our ultimate goal. We not only want to meet families who are in crisis, but we say a lot that not only families need help, but they also need hope. And then with that, that's where the long-term relationship is of value with our partners, and that they don't have to continue to introduce themselves to various groups in the community, and that the groups know that this family, this person is actively working on steps to move themselves into a better household position. Next slide, please. We covered this a little earlier, but I do want to identify our current partner mix. Currently, we have 14 partners with Restoration Storehouse, and we have various categories for that. As stated earlier, we have 10 partners that are core and collaborative in nature. Those are partners that we have direct contract relationships with for service provisions. Our other partners include 2 participants in our nonprofit incubator program. This is a new opportunity that we started where nonprofits here in Rockdale County that have a early stage development and presence here in Rockdale. We have office space that we've made available where they can come into relationship with us and with other nonprofits and begin their journey there with the idea that over a period of 6, 12, 18 months that they will find some level of stability, and we would pursue other partnership relationships at that time. But this is an entry point for nonprofits in our community to formalize a relationship with Restoration Storehouse. And we also have community partners that do not have offices or presence at Restoration on a day-to-day basis, but offer after-school-based programming. And so the 2 partners that we have through community-based programming is Conyers Covington Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated and Resurgent Leadership Foundation. Resurgent Leadership Foundation operates a bi-weekly after-school program for 2nd to 6th graders, and the Conyers Covington Alumni Chapter presents Kappa League Guide Right, which covers grades 6 through 12. So there is tremendous opportunities for young people to have mentoring and after-school impact through Restoration Storehouse and through our partnerships. Next slide, please.
Can I ask you about the two that are in the pipeline
Yes.
for nonprofits? Are those services that are missing currently, or that you'd like to develop at Restoration Storehouse?
Yes.
Okay.
So as we evaluate proposals, because we do receive a fair amount of proposals, we not only have a partner mix, essentially our partner mix is what would be most helpful to families, but also a group that can provide a service that currently isn't present. And so the two groups, the services that they provide in the incubator program is a youth health food initiative, as well as there's a group that is starting to provide classes towards entrepreneurship and helping individuals begin to formulate their ideas, that they can take them from idea stage to the next step of how they can lay their foundation.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Currently, Restoration Storehouse, for those that may not be aware, we occupy a space that has a footprint of 78,000 square feet of space. We have currently renovated close to at 47% of that space. Another way in which we make economic impact, and we share that with our partners, is that we offer space at below market rate. And currently, the market rate, last I checked here in Rockdale, was roughly around $19 per square foot average for being able to rent space. Our current cost share rate is $6.91 for this fiscal year. What that means is that difference between the market square footage amount and what we charge in the way of, or what we assess in the way of $6.91, that difference gets rolled back into our partners' operating budgets. So those are funds that go directly back out in programming, back out into the community for program-related services. And the calculation of that is that by offering the cost share that we do for fiscal year 25, that roughly saved or put back into operation $450,000 that we were able to contribute through that model.
Okay.
Next slide, please. This is a project that is currently under development and scheduled for delivery in December of 2025. We are investing in electric vehicle training in partnership with Georgia Piedmont Technical College. They will offer 2 certifications here in Rockdale to Rockdale residents, partnership with the Career Academy, and also in partnership with Kretzy as our main partners to bring this to fruition. Go to the next slide, please. Just another level of investment as we go forward into what is now our next 3-year cycle. This investment will be $1.125 million that will allow for this space to be completed. That includes roughly, again, a space of 5,450 square feet. This training space will include 4 bays, classroom, lab space, and this will not be a traditional shop with service provided to the public. Essentially, this would be cars that would be stationed inside of Restoration, definitely using the technology that's available, mostly computer-based training, cameras, diagram boards, and those types of things. So the individuals that will participate in this will receive top quality education that will prepare them for the programs, as well as the opportunities that are available today. Right now, and you may have heard this in a previous presentation, the dealer channel has a tremendous amount of need for electric vehicle trained individuals, as well as the charging station infrastructure. There's a tremendous need for service technicians to work in that space as well. So by providing this opportunity along with Georgia Piedmont Technical College, that opens up a pathway of experiences for those who live locally. Next slide, please. That covers some of our next steps at Restoration in the way of capital investment. As shared, the Electric Vehicle Training Center, there's a common area where now that we're continuing to further expand, being able to implement the plans that have been laid previously in the way of being able to offer food opportunities, not just for consumption, but also for education as well, where there will be certification programs on site in the way of culinary arts and training in that way as well. A couple more slides and then we'll be done. Just a representation, next slide please. This is the currently how space is being used at Restoration Storehouse. At the conclusion of the build out of the EV Training Center space, we have completed over 42,000 square feet of renovations since 2019, and the remaining space includes areas that will have a permanent location for Partnership for Community Action, our commercial kitchen and cafe space, our event space that we do have event space active now that we put into activation for various nonprofits and program use. And we are also looking at programs in the way of AI technology. So where we're going over these next 3 years is really putting a strong emphasis on education, workforce development opportunities, because we believe that that's one of the strongest ways in which we can help families increase their household budget and income and make contributions. So in summary, the last few slides just next slide please, gives a visual demonstration of the various types of events that are held at Restoration Storehouse. We've had joint Conyers, Rockdale County, Rockdale School District Homelessness Task Force meetings, the Rockdale Coalition of Children and Families Community Resource meetings, CRETSI, and just a host of communities events that we've been pleased to hold at Restoration. Next slide. Few visuals. Next slide, please. And that concludes our presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Hughes. Are there any
Thank you.
questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
My pleasure.
I love what is going on over there. You're progressive. When I think about the electrical vehicle training center, that's a really great pathway for people to learn. The young man that does our lawn care was so excited to tell me that Refuge Center was handling their first pregnancy, and it all went well, and he was super happy with it. So I'm hearing good things about what's going on at Restoration Storehouse.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you to the board members and affiliates for coming today. We really appreciate that. If somebody wants more information, I know it's on the slide, but could you just tell them the number and email address, please?
Absolutely. The best place to go would be to our website, restorationstorehouse.org, and that way there's a contact us form, so you can actually use that to generate an email if you have a specific need.
Okay.
Or if you would like to schedule a tour, you can schedule one through our platform online as well.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you for your good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and next we have a presentation by George Kelichek from the Rockdale Soil and Water Conservation District Update.
Some information passed out here real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
too much stuff. So, good morning. George Kelichek, Rockdale Soil Water Conservation District. First of all, our board appreciates you, the county, supporting our initiatives with funding every year. And in just a couple of minutes, we'll show the video regarding the Natural Resource Conservation Workshop, which is now in its 64th year. And we send students to Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College, ABAC, in Tifton, Georgia, to expose the next generation of conservationists, farmers, urban and rural, to expose them over to 300 plus agribusiness careers here in the state of Georgia, which is the #1 industry in Georgia. According to the UGA Center for Agribusiness and Economic Development, agriculture is a driving force for local economies across Georgia and has long shaped the state's history. In June of 2022, in year 2022, food and fiber production and related industries contributed 323,300 jobs to Georgians and $83.6 billion in output to the Georgia's $1.4 million trillion economy. So with your brochures there, and I have brochures and all these handouts for individuals that would like more information on this. But wonderful Rockdale County invested $6,000 to send 16 students to the NRCW event. And we were the highest county throughout the 159 counties in the state. So we sent 16 of the 100 students. And I'll be doing this presentation also at the Board of Education on the 18th to have all of these students be presented there for us, and then also the CRDC and the city presentations. So, and in your package here, we'll show you the worksheets of what the students accomplished. And on the last page, you know, everybody has to put down their main slogan. And I really like this one from one of our Rockdale County students. Build better, breathe better, be better. So coming from a 15-year-old Rockdale County High School students, that just goes to show you, by exposing them to this world of agribusiness, it puts their thinking caps on, and so you'll find some valuable information in there. So if...
Just say next slide, please.
Oh, next slide, please. So this will be about a 3-minute video, and we were featured on the Georgia Farm Monitor,
Okay.
which is on Saturday mornings and goes to millions of Georgians.
Agriculture being Georgia's #1 industry, land conservation plays a critical role in protecting the state's economy. That's why ABAC, along with several partnering agencies from across Georgia, recently hosted the Natural Resources Conservation Workshop. Our Damon Jones was there and shows us how the event gave students a hands-on look at potential career opportunities.
It's been said that experience is the best teacher, and that's exactly what these high school students are receiving at this conservation workshop on the ABAC campus, where they not only get a first-hand look at Georgia's wildlife industry, but also a small taste of the college life.
It can be a huge change when students make that transition from being a student in high school to college. There's a lot more freedom. We want them to realize that you can have fun, but there's also a certain sense of self-responsibility that you have to take into that role to see what it's like. And yes, you can have fun, but there's work involved as well.
We actually brought in about 100 students from all over the state. And they're coming from all different walks of life, and all coming down here to get firsthand experiences and knowledge from professionals in the workforce of natural resource conservation.
That knowledge is vital to the sustainability of agriculture here in Georgia, which has always been a major priority, with the need for food, fiber, and shelter likely to increase in the coming years.
because we need that next generation of conservationists, because there's a lot of research that says, we we won't be able to provide the resources and food that we need to our population by 2050 if we don't have more people that are aware that we need those farming acres. We need agriculture to be able to live and continue our lives and take care of our families.
While there are a number of agricultural programs for elementary and college students, that's not the case for rising 10th and 11th graders. And with the majority of those in attendance falling into that group, it's an opportunity to reach students who are just beginning to think about their future.
They can be a little more informed on what direction they might want to go in their career paths, because all of us in this career, we know we love our jobs. We know we're happy, and we also know that we're doing good on the landscape, and that feels good. And we just want to make sure that we can keep filling those roles as the resources need it going forward.
With its nationally recognized Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources, ABAC made the perfect site for this event, as it provides numerous programs that advance the aspirations of those interested in getting into the field.
We love hosting this event here. We are a practical hands-on school, and this is a practical hands-on event. And so our students, whether they're going into ag sciences or natural resources, we are boots on the ground ready. And so we'd like bringing the students here, let them see what kind of small town atmosphere ABAC can offer. Right now, I currently have about 6 students in my forestry and wildlife program in our Department of Forest Resources that were from this camp.
Reporting from Tifton, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
With agriculture being Georgia's #1 industry, land conservation plays a critical role in protecting the state's economy.
So in Indy, locally, this is the Georgia Growing Magazine, and we'll get copies to you. On a local basis, or on a statewide basis, our average farmer going into the business is 47 years old. Our average farmer now is 65. That's why it's so vitally important we get this next generation. And on September the 26th, to support this initiative locally, we are hosting the Urban Gardening and Farming program at our meeting on September the 26th, Friday. We'll have officials coming in from USDA, NRCS, to provide information regarding the Young Farmers and Ranchers program. And so if you have 1/100th of an acre, 426 square feet, and you register your plot with the USDA and sell fruits and vegetables to individuals and have those receipts, then you can receive subsidies through the USDA. So we'll be presenting that information on the 26th.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next we have our Chief Operating Officer, Sue Sanders, who is presenting our budget expenditure analysis.
Good morning.
Good
Chair and
morning.
Board. While they're pulling that up, I wanted to welcome the CFO to his first meeting. So he is here with us today, and I'll be doing this month's update, and then he'll take it from here after this
Okay,
one.
wonderful. And we're glad to have you.
Thank you. So what you see before you is the July budget to actual report. All budgets should have 41.67% remaining. Overall, we're trending well with 44.39% remaining for the overall general fund, which is a little more than 2.7% ahead of where we should be ending the month of July. Departments in blue are trending slightly above, but there are no concerns at this time. Departments in green have spent less year to date in 2025 than they did in 2024 for the same time period. Those departments include Board of Commissioners, Elections, Public Relations, Animal Services, Fire Rescue, EMA, Coroner, Planning and Development, and Cooperative Extension. Enterprise budgets are also trending well and are 23% ahead of the ideal remaining percentage. Finance continues to monitor the budgets closely monthly and contact departments as needed. And that is all I have for the month. Any questions?
We just like to see that we're not spending as much, that we're behind the projection,
Okay.
which is a
Yes.
good thing.
It is.
So can you talk about if we continue to trend, and I really like the ones in green, but I know everybody's working hard on projects. Can you talk about what that could look like at the end of the year if we continue on the trend that we're on now?
If we continued on this, we'd be about maybe 1.5% to 2% above projections, but it's hard to say as, you know, we're just finishing out the summer months. That's Parks and Rec's busiest month. So some of the departments have seasonal costs, but we expect to end the year a little bit above where we should be.
Okay. In savings.
In savings, yes.
Yes. Thank you for that clarification.
Duly noted. And savings.
All right, very good. We now have a proclamation.
Do you have the proclamation?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So we have a proclamation by the Board of Commissioners. Whereas, do we have any guests here today?
Oh, right there.
Okay. Sorry, I'm really submitting it. Oh, okay. Very good. Well, if you'd like to come forward, we would be glad to read this proclamation. Okay, that'll work. Very good. And your name? Adrienne. Janice, very nice. Nice to have you today. Stand right here. All right. So, whereas chronic pain is a major public health challenge affecting more than 24.3% of the adult population, or more than 50 million people in the United States, with approximately 20 million, or 8.5%, experiencing high-impact chronic pain that significantly limits daily life or work activities on most days. And whereas pain is the leading reason Americans seek medical attention and remains the #1 cause of long-term disability in the United States. And whereas the economic burden of chronic pain is substantial, with annual costs estimated at over $635 billion due to medical expenses, lost wages, and decreased productivity. And whereas chronic pain affects nearly every aspect of a person's life, including physical and emotional well-being, relationships, mental health, and the ability to participate fully in life. And whereas individuals living with chronic pain often face stigma, delayed diagnosis, under-treatment, and inadequate access to effective multidisciplinary care. Whereas the U.S. Pain Foundation is a national nonprofit organization whose mission is to empower, educate, connect, and advocate for individuals living with chronic conditions that cause pain, as well as their caregivers and care teams. Whereas raising awareness about the challenges faced by people with pain promotes empathy, equity, innovation in care, and public policies that improve quality of life. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Board of Commissioners of Rockdale County, do hereby proclaim September 25 as Pain Awareness Month, and encourage all citizens to support increased awareness, research, compassionate care, and effective treatment for those affected by pain. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the official seal of Rockdale County to be affixed on this 9th day of September 2025. Signed by myself, Janice Van Ness, Commissioner Post 1, Tawanya Smith, and Commissioner Post 2, Doreen Williams. You're welcome. Would you like to say a few words?
Good morning. My name's Adriana Ewing. I'm a volunteer with the U.S. Pain Foundation. I've also lived and worked in Rockdale County for my entire life. Was born at the Rockdale, Piedmont. I've been here for as long as I can remember, as long as I've been here. But I first wanted to thank you so much for the acknowledgement of September as Pain Awareness Month. As someone who suffers from chronic pain condition, this proclamation is very personal to me. I've lived and worked, again, in Rockdale County for my entire life, and I love to see how this community consistently gives back to the residents of Rockdale County. As mentioned in the proclamation, according to the CDC, 24.3% of adults live with chronic pain. To give a better visual, that's about 1 in 5. The U.S. Pain Foundation also conducted a large-scale survey this year for those who deal with chronic pain, and according to that survey, 87% of adults surveyed lived with chronic pain for more than 5 years. 93% said that pain significantly limits their physical activity, and 88% report anxiety or depression directly tied to their pain. Pain impacts every part of a person's life. It is relentless and destructive. It interferes with learning in school for the children who are afflicted and impacts the ability to work or the access to certain types of jobs for adults. It also has a significant impact on emotional and mental health. By taking time to spread awareness on chronic pain and the many conditions that cause it, we are rallying to have patients be an informed part of their care. We also wish and hope for better education for both patients and care providers. By recognizing September as Pain Awareness Month, Rockdale County is being part of the change that we want to see. I want to thank the Board of Commissioners once again for this proclamation. On behalf of the residents of Rockdale County who live with chronic pain, we thank you.
That's his name. Yeah.
Thank you. Good job.
All right, at this time, I'd like to have Director Hammer come to the podium to give us an update.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, so I believe you wanted an update on the Rockdale River Trail Extension project.
Yes.
Okay, so just to give a little background, the Rockdale River Trail is about a 10-mile extension, goes from Panola Mountain across the southern part of the county at South River, and currently it ends at the Monastery of the Holy Spirit. And then the Old Town Conyers Trail extends from Pine Log Park and south, and it ends right at Johnson Park. So the connector portion is point A to point B. So it's from Heritage High School, essentially, Johnson Park, running down. It's about 5.5 miles to get to the monastery. This is probably the most difficult section of it because when you have a fixed point A and a fixed point B, you don't have a whole lot of flexibility in how you route the trail. So that's been one of the difficulties since the beginning of the project. The consultant that we have working on that with our GDOT consultant QK4, they identified, I want to say, about 3 or 4 different routes to get from point A to point B. 3 main ones I'll talk about. The one on the west side, if you're looking at the boot of Rockdale County, the one that's more on the west side would go from Heritage High School straight down 138 and then down to 212, excuse me, and then it would intersect at the bridge over the monastery on 212. That would essentially be a large sidewalk. Not really the preferred route for that reason, plus there's severe ditches on the side of the road that make the engineering difficult. There's a lot of very steep inclines as the road drops off on 138 as well. So it's difficult and probably the longest of 3 routes. The center route is what they call their preferred route, and it's only preferred not necessarily from all the property owners that it might affect, but preferred from, they look at a variety of concepts from an engineering standpoint, its constructability, and environmental, how many environmental resources it impacting, structural, are there multiple bridges needed, or boardwalks, or retaining walls, things like that. And then they also look at the cost and the length, which often relates to the cost. And then one of the other high priorities they look at is the number of properties impacted. All of the routes that they selected, including the east route, is what I'll call it, had hundreds of properties affected. You know, as you're going, even if you're going down a sidewalk, going down a roadway, every single property, every single driveway and roadway and intersection, you have an impact on there. So the engineers looked at that. They had a preferred route, is what they called it. So the very first step is to finish a concept report with Georgia Department of Transportation. That's submitted to Georgia Department of Transportation, and as part of that, they seek public input. So we held 2 public open houses on August 13th and August 19th, and there's a public comment portion, and I believe it ends at the end of this month. So we're still taking public comment on that. The 2 events were very well attended. As you can imagine, whenever you have something that impacts people's property, it was attended by a lot of the people in the neighborhood, and also some homeowners along 138 as well, and 212 that attended. I don't have the results of those comments yet, but I will. They'll be collecting those and compiling those, and the engineers probably make a chart out of it too, and I'll be bringing that back to present to the board. So that would complete the concept stage. At the conclusion of the concept stage, it'll be sent to Georgia Department of Transportation for their input and approval, and then also to the Board of Commissioners for your input and approval. So there's multiple options that you could take at that point. It could be to proceed with the preferred route that the engineers have presented. It could be to elect to go back to, I don't want to say all the way back to the drawing board, but go back and look at the other concepts or the other routes, or come up with even a different one than the engineers looked at, or it could even be, we're not going to build this at all. They always present a no-build option, although in this case we do have 80% of the project is being funded by the Department of Transportation. And of course, we've been working on the Rockdale River Trail for longer than I've been with the county. So it's been a long process to try to get that regional trail that would extend from the west side of Rockdale County all the way into Newton County, possibly. So.
And I heard clearly 2 different routes. I didn't hear the third and fourth.
The third one, I'm doing this off of memory. I do have a diagram that I'll share. The third one is more to the west side. So if you look straight up and down and you draw a line.
Maybe it'd be easier for people if you said the Heritage High School side versus.
Yes, sorry. So yes, if you drew a line straight from Heritage High School down to the monastery, it's roughly a north-south route. It might weave left or right, but it'll basically go from north to the south. We have one that was to the one side of it, one that was to the other side of it. The one to this side was 212 and 138, and the other one is really just kind of cross lots, hitting some properties, hitting some roads. I know Tucker Mill was one of them. Walker Road was another one that it crossed. Good Road. So there was an alternate route. Prior to that, years and years ago, there were, when we did different investigations, they looked at all kinds of other routes. One went through Abbey Ridge, one went through the back of the monastery property. So there's been many iterations over the years for this.
Okay.
So trying to narrow it down to the ones that are the most feasible for cost, environmental, structural, and engineering.
And I think that when you presented what went down 138 on the Heritage side and then went under the bridge.
Correct.
I'm sorry, I can't remember what the name of that.
It's Honey Creek.
The Honey Creek. So it goes under and then back up. So there's no crossing over 138.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
That's
Very
correct.
good.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Any
Thank
questions?
you. Any questions? Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, we will move to public comments.
All right, I believe you have all of the cards, but if you intended to speak this morning, there's a yellow card to fill out, and then we'll get the timer up as you're...
All right. First, we have Tiffany Jacobs.
Good morning, Commissioners, Board of Commissioners, and Rockdale community. My name is Tiffany Jacobs. I live in the Abbey Ridge community, located on 212. I'm here today to share my concerns about the proposed South River Trail extension along Highway 212 to Heritage High School. While I strongly support expanding our trail system, I cannot support this project as it is currently planned. Highway 212 is a heavily trafficked highway with fast-moving traffic and a documented history of accidents and fatalities. Introducing pedestrians and bicyclist traffic along the corridor will create a high-risk environment, especially for children and family. Even with added signage and painted crossing, the highway's conditions are not conducive to the safety of pedestrian activity. The proposal highlights Heritage High School as a destination, directing students and family onto the corridor with proven safety hazards is deeply concerning. It exposes young people to unnecessary risk on their daily commute and undermines the purpose of creating safe routes to schools. The trails are meant to provide safe, scenic, and enjoyable access to the outdoors. Routing the trail adjacent to Highway 212 will subject users to noise, exhaust, heat from traffic, creating an unpleasant and unsafe experience that discourages use and reduces the value of the investment. Increasing pedestrians' exposure along a dangerous highway raises liability risk for the county. Additionally, future retrofits such as barriers, grade separation, or rerouting will likely be more expensive than carefully planning a safer route from the outset. Safer, more scenic alignments should be reevaluated to ensure that Rockdale's trails systems truly serve the community and encourage use, prioritizing safety, user experience, and long-term sustainability should guide trail planners' decisions, even if it requires additional effort to the design phase. For these reasons, I cannot support the South Trail extension in its current proposed form. I urge Rockdale community to consider a realignment and explore safer alternatives that better reflect the purpose and the promise of our trail system. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I appreciate your commitment to improving our community's infrastructure and respectfully request that the safety and usability remain at the forefront of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have Anita Ray Wilson. Anita Wilson. Oh, and Jim. You're all coming together?
It's Kay Wilson. I go by my little name.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Kay Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
Okay. I live in the community that will be impacted by this trail, and this is my community. So I am very much against this going through there. There are a number of reasons. One of the reasons that our previous speaker talked about was cost. I understand the cost, but I don't know if everyone understands the cost to our neighborhood, not necessarily in money, but how we feel as a community. We've lost our neighborhood. There are people going in and out. We no longer know them. We, as a neighborhood, generally know people in the neighborhood. It's not that big of a community. We now have people will be able to bring their cars into the community. They don't have to park at the monastery. They can just park in our community, hop on the trail, and use it. So our community will pick up a lot of cost in other ways other than money. So I am very much against this invasion of our community.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Jim Wilson.
Hi, I'm a resident of East Mill Forest subdivision, and the whole subdivision is opposed to this, and you've seen the petition, I think, that has 40-plus names on it. Who has the petition, or where did it go? And that has never reached you?
Yeah,
Okay.
they have it.
So, there are many reasons not for this trail to come through our subdivision, which is East Mill Forest. As she said, there's going to be people parking their cars on it. But in addition, it goes through a neighborhood on their front, right through their front yards. Half the subdivision is going to have this trail right through their front yard. Ask yourself how you would like to have a trail like that through your front yard. Okay, that's one major point. Another point is that this is a waste of money. Who's going to be using this trail? Very few people and very few cyclists are going to be using this trail. I asked everybody that I went to the meeting at, how many people or how many cyclists are going to be using this trail? They couldn't tell me. We're going to spend millions of dollars for this trail and we don't even know who's going to use it. It's a very long trail, very long. And like she said, people are just going to come into our neighborhood and park their cars there because that's way too long to walk from the monastery to Heritage High School. No way, no way. Even cyclists, there's only going to be a few of them. Okay, so I'm in that waste of money category. Second, once it crosses into Creekside Drive and goes down to Honey Creek, there's going to be a bridge across there. Then it goes along Honey Creek till it reaches 138. That whole area is a floodplain. We live on a floodplain. And it floods regularly. So that trail is going to be flooded almost regularly. 2 or 3 times a year probably it's going to be flooded. And it's going to have to be redone again. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. The whole neighborhood is not in favor of this, and particularly the people who have it right through their front yard. Right through their front yard. This is not going to increase the value of those homes at all, for sure. Anyway, enough. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you very
that.
much. Okay, Theodore Davis.
Well, unlike everybody else, first of all, thank you very much for taking the opportunity to listen to us speak about our concerns. I also live in the East Mill subdivision. My name's Theodore Davis, and I didn't prepare anything, but like others have said, there's just a lot of concern about what's going on. I remember a few years ago they came through and measured through the back of our property, which, as he mentioned, floods a lot. As a result, it looked like they did a lot of the taping 200-300 yards plus away from the creek, taking more of our property. They probably would have basically claimed about an acre of our property on our house if it would have ran in back. Instead, it looks like they could potentially take out a number of trees and landscaping that not necessarily I have done, but I know that other people in the neighborhood have done similar things that they've invested into their properties. I also look at where they're looking at putting the trail now. In addition to the flood, it would be very difficult to get to access it for maintenance. If there are emergencies, there might be other issues that could happen along the trail. So much of it is not near any other roads or anything. It's very, it's back in between different areas. It'd be very hard for people to access. It could become potentially dangerous for people on the trail because, you have secluded areas like that. Who knows the safety concerns of a solo person walking along there, what they could face. My wife has definitely been very concerned, but she was unable to attend today due to prior obligations. She's just also concerned about, we have a 10-year-old daughter who regularly is outside playing, doing things all the time. And if there's people in front or behind our property, it wouldn't take very long for them to get to her and do something that, could potentially be unsafe. So we think that there are probably much better ways to do the trail if it's even found to be necessary at all, other than accessing through a neighborhood that really doesn't seem to have any interest in having a trail go through it, or have other vehicles coming in, going through, what have you. I've heard some talk about, maybe students from Heritage High School, using the trail to access school or have a safer route to get there. But again, if it's going through this area behind properties and through forested area, it's not accessing any of those students. How would they actually be accessing that unless they're going to be going through all of that? And again, do you want to put students going through probably a couple of miles of very isolated area with no supervision, no access to emergency services or what have you? So there's just a lot of concerns that we have about that. So thank you very much for listening to us. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right, Reverend Warren Potter.
All right. Well, thank you, first of all, for having us come, or allowing us to come and speak to you. I am the minister at Unity Church of Rockdale, one of the ministers, and so I'm going to hold on to this, hopefully, so I don't get out of here and do all this stuff, okay? But we do have a lot of concerns about the trail coming through the property. We didn't, my boys and I do use the trail at the monastery, and we enjoy it quite well, but it is kind of out where it's not. If it was going through some neighborhoods or some housing yards, I probably wouldn't take the boys through that, because I think it's an intrusion on their property. I do want to remind everybody here that maybe you're not as close to it as we are, but the monastery also was offered to have it go through them, and they declined the rest of the trail that way. So there was a reason for that, and they have their reasons, because they didn't want the tranquility changed back there for their monks, which is fine. And everybody has their reasons, but this is something that, as a lot of people said, we don't have to have because of the cost of it. Just because we're getting 80% from the government, from a different branch of a government, doesn't mean that we have to spend 20% of our money to do something that is not popular, especially here. It's another thing that I found out about all this stuff, which I think the way we're doing this is kind of the cart before the horse. I mean, we're coming out and having a presentation to the people that it's going through, not against you or anything, but the coming out near the end, it looks like the proposal that was sent out, the card was sent out, which not everybody got in the neighborhood, was something that said it was a proposal, but it was presented at these two meetings like, this is how we're going to do it. And that's why we're here today. And there's a lot of more people from the neighborhood that were here at those two meetings. And we do have a petition that we'll give to you here in a little bit. But I think the way we're doing this is kind of backwards. Like I said, going and asking the people that it's going to affect at the end or near the end is just not the way to do it, if you ask me. I've been with Unity Church for a long time. I've helped them build churches and relocate, and we would always ask the people in the neighborhood if they wanted a church. If they didn't, we weren't going to go there. We just weren't going to go there. If somebody doesn't want us there, we're not going to go there. So anyway, it's against the stream to do this. There are reasons as far as also the ground the way it is there, and I hope that we can also be cognizant of the fact, which I'm kind of surprised, I've seen this happen a lot in Rockdale County, is our government likes to hire, or seems to hire, a lot of people that don't work in or live in Rockdale. I wish we could change that too, because I nothing against the engineer or anything, but he doesn't live here. And so all these things that we do, I think that we would be a little bit better prepared for a positive response if we would give them more respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ashley Wu.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Of course, I'm against it. Just like a lot of my neighbors, I don't feel safe. My house is right. I think that walking trail is a good idea, but it shouldn't be cut through an existing residential neighborhood. Imagine we. I don't know. If I open the window and I see different people, new people, I just don't feel safe. And no privacy. I have to keep my curtain closed all day, all night. And of course, I think that any walking trail, it's just like dog park, tennis court, pickleball park. It's always good. But whoever designed this trail route should respect our local residents' opinions. We've been living there. I've been living there for 30 years. My kids are grown, so I don't think if anything bad happens to me, I can protect myself. I can't even run fast enough to avoid it. I can just, I have to find my phone, dial 911. I don't want to live like that.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. We have George Kelichek.
Good morning again. As you all know, I was elected by these citizens to represent them regarding environmental items and challenges in our county. And I would look at this, my sister who's a master gardener, and I've spoken with many of them around the state, there's no reason for us to fight Mother Nature. With the recent catastrophic flooding events across the United States, which are related to climate change, it is my suggestion that, as my dad always told me, if you surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, you will spend less time and less money being more successful. I would look at bringing the Board of Commissioners, the City Council, the Board of Education, CREDC, and then experts from the Georgia Forestry Commission, EPD, EPA, Department of Natural Resources, excuse me, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. So we can make decisions for what we currently are looking at, but for our future generations. I've had the opportunity to visit Jim Wilson and his wife, and when you go down there to that area of Honey Creek, it's in a floodplain. And, if you build in a floodplain, you're going to have issues. Concrete collapse, bridge collapse. And, again, it's looking at investing 20% of our monies. I just need to take a hard look at what are the possibilities and what could we do differently for the citizens and the future generations. So let us not take the approach of fire ready aim, but aim ready fire, and spend our tax dollars efficiently and effectively. So, and also the Chattahoochee River Trail, which is now from Beaufort to Columbus, has a beautiful dynamic trail which is always being added to connect all the communities together, which may not actually relate to Rockdale County, but I had a 5-hour meeting the other day with Jackie Eccles, who is the chairperson for the South River Watershed Alliance, and they are now already working on projects to look at enhancing the South River for the continuing from Rockdale, DeKalb, all the way down to Jackson Lake. And so I think we need to also bring her in on this discussion to look at what are they planning for the South River. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next we have Mr. Vanderspeck.
Good morning, council members. Most of you know me as John Speck. Some of you know me in another position where I actually support the county and looking at ongoing costs of certain investments in the county. I have a lot of prepared comments. I'm not going to go through most of them for the sake that they've already been said by some people. The ask here, and Director Kelly has already volunteered on this South Trail, is to relook at the investments that would have to be made on each trail direction, including the grant money that Director Kelly is very masterful at accumulating that is available from the Safe Streets Initiative that may make the 212-138 path a lot more viable. There's also a standing invitation to Director Kelly that we will walk that route together. And we can look at the investment that the county has to make, not just in redoing all of the culverts, drains, retaining walls, redoing personal driveways that have to be done because of the slope changes, but also the county investment in ongoing maintenance of building a trail through a forest where we have this thing called widowmakers, where a young lady is now lying in the hospital as a result of a windstorm that knocked branches on top of them. I suspect that a large contingent of my peers in this community are also looking at having fences installed to protect them and give them their privacy. All of these add up to an ongoing, uncompensated cost for the county, where we are now actually committing the county to be spending money on maintaining retaining walls, rerouting sewage systems, rerouting water systems, drainage, and floodplains. And we have an area that is already owned by the state available to us that has very minimal issues. But even those are not the big issue. We are proposing a path that crosses Tucker Mill. Tucker Mill, the intersection of 212 and Tucker Mill, is a racetrack. We are proposing a path along Tucker Mill, and quite frankly, you can't get far enough away from Tucker Mill because it's a 50 to 55 mile an hour zone. It's posted at 45, but nobody's put a speed camera up there yet. Please do so, and you will be shocked. People have to race across that intersection to make it. Now we also have two other high-risk zones that we are proposing running this trail along. One of that is where the trail exits under 138, and it proceeds to Heritage High School. The developments on that side, on the north side of 138, have multiple accidents on record on 138 because people get rear-ended on that route. That is a safety hazard. That is the county putting people at risk. I thank the county for the diligence they've provided in this. I thank them for the support. I thank the council for being there. Please help us with this.
Thank you. All right, and then we have Reverend Francine Potter.
Those are the signed petitions of 74 people in our neighborhood that are opposed to the Rockdale River Trail. I'm sorry. I'm cold, number one, so I feel like I'm shivering. In regards to this trail, though, from the monastery to Grenade, the community of East Mill Forest, which is our neighborhood, and surrounding areas, opposes the path coming into our neighborhoods. We are not opposed to the trail. We are just don't see the point of disrupting our serene neighborhoods when the trail can easily go a different direction. We have looked at several alternate proposals, concluding that the original trail was the most unobtrusive choice. Run the trail from Lorraine Park down to Johnson Park like it was originally planned, and it's still on the website from July of 2020 when it was put on the website, still there, and it's still on there. One of the proposed directions was down through the monastery, and after speaking to Father Callistus at the monastery, they were and are opposed to the extension through their property. And as you can see from the signatures, they both signed the petition because they're against it going through our neighborhoods. They see that it's not healthy. And with these 74 signatures, we know that we are all collectively coming together to protect our private, serene neighborhood that we love and to make a difference. The proposal the engineers are pushing not only goes directly through our neighborhood, but through a couple's yard. They never even asked the couple if they wanted it to tear down the middle of their yard, and never have mentioned compensating or anything. And when we got the postcards in the mail was the first time we heard about this trail wanting to come through our neighborhoods, which I thought was really rude, disrespectful, and not appropriate. I mean, you'd think somebody would ask us if we want a trail through here before they spend, I don't know how much money you've spent on this engineer from Marietta or wherever. Anyway, and like people have said, the topography and the flood zone just doesn't work for this trail. And that when that creek rises, it becomes a flood zone, and some of the people's yards fill up with the sand from the river. And then it's going to end up being just like Lorraine Park, and we already know there's a serious problem there where it's flooding away. I say spend the money fixing Lorraine Park so the children that have been enjoying that playground can go back to enjoying it. And that is where the trail was supposed to go from in the original plan that's on this map on your website. It was supposed to go from Lorraine Park, go through the power line right away, and come through to Johnson Park, following that right away. And in the beginning, when the whole idea of the trails started was to take railroad areas and right-of-way areas and beautify them and make them the path. The other thing is, a proposal is a proposal. It shouldn't be a done deal. And they sent the cards out saying it was a proposal, and like Reverend Warren said, they made it sound like this is a done deal. It shouldn't be a done deal. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our public comment. And just as a follow-up, Director Hammer, will you let us know when that project started and the cost to date, if you know that?
When the original project started?
For this section.
Oh, for this section? I don't know off the top of my head when we contracted with the engineers for that, or GDOT. I want to say it was about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
The cost to date, again, I don't have that off the top of my head. I think the engineers' cost at the moment is somewhere around $800,000, $900,000 that's been spent.
Okay.
And 80% of that comes from Georgia Department of Transportation, 20% is paid by the county.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we will move forward with the approval of our agenda today.
I move to approve the agenda as published.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes as presented for August 26th, August 28th, and September 4th.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Moving to unfinished business.
Okay, item 397 is rezoning case 2025-06, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended by rezoning 1405 Southwest Smyrna Road, 1375 Southwest Smyrna Road, 1901 Southwest Flat Shoals Road, Southwest Still Meadow Road, 1301 Southwest Still Meadow Road, and 1320 Southwest Still Meadow Road from R1 Single Family Residential to CRS Collaborative Residential Subdivision, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading this morning.
I move to approve the ordinance and approve the second reading and adopt the ordinance as presented.
Do I have a second?
Is there a second?
Just give me a second, please. All right. I approve.
Okay. I have a motion.
Oh, you second the
Second
motion?
it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Okay. All
I
in
do
favor
have
say-
something to say, though, in reference to, I had some questions.
Would you like the
And
planning
concern.
director to come to
Yes.
the podium to ask questions? Okay.
Well, I got the answer, but you still can come, though.
Okay.
Explain, please, if you don't mind. There were concerns.
Good morning.
If you could just give an explanation as to changing from R1 to this new zoning, what the restrictions would be if you were in, well, the allowance that would be if it stayed in R1, and some of the restrictions that would come with changing the zoning.
Okay, so with the changes to this particular zoning district as requested, what you will have is some smaller lot sizes, whereas R1 is basically more or less an acre the CR will allow for a little bit more density for the lots.
Okay. And the clear cutting and things like that will happen with R1 would be?
So there will be, that will come when they do request their LDP process.
Okay.
As far as the clear cutting, any, I guess brush that would have to be removed from the site.
And you mean their land disturbance permit?
The land
please.
disturbance permit, that's the LDP.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So my understanding is that currently with the proposal for collaborative residential zoning, that it would allow 87 homes, but a lot of the property, and I don't know the percentage, but a lot of it would remain in green space. And with a buffer around the neighborhood.
That is correct.
That would not, those requirements would not exist if it was zoned R, if it continued as R1.
Well, with R1, you have to realize as well, in terms of buffers, those would be some conditions that could also be stipulated. So not necessarily saying that that would not be a requirement, but, buffers, we would have to, of course, look at the code. But, things like buffers, those could have been requested as conditions to the development.
But it's already zoned R1, so we don't have an opportunity to make any conditions on that. Am I correct?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
So if you want to increase it to the 100-foot buffer, my suggestion this morning, if this is something that the board is going to approve, that we go through the conditions and make sure that those conditions are in here. For example, you referenced the 87 lots. Right now, the condition that's in front of you, it says the site shall be restricted not to exceed 94. We might want to put 87.
And if I can add, in your packet and in the revised site plan, there are actually 87 lots for this development.
Right, I saw that. But at the moment, it doesn't say that. Director Rutledge?
Yes, so I'm looking at the conditions of zoning. So Director Gardner's right about the site plan, but I'm looking at the attached Exhibit C, where it says conditions of zoning. Number 2 says the site shall be restricted not to exceed 94 lots. Should we put 87 lots? Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. If you would like, I could just read through these conditions, if that's something, or time.
Those are the conditions for rezoning, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with them.
Okay. I will indicate, though, with the revised site plan, based on comments from the fire department and from RDOT, there was an additional condition that we did add, item number 16 on that page.
Which is a second entrance into
That's
the
a
neighborhood?
triangle.
Is that-
It reads as follows: the triangular concrete island shall be constructed to allow left-hand turns into the property and designed to allow for right turn only for both entrances.
But yeah, there was an addition of an entrance on Flat Shoals, I think it was, because it was only on Smyrna.
Correct. So on one of the revised plans, because this went through several renditions, one of the site plans, it closed off the entrance to Flat Shoals, but on our last submittal, that entrance was replaced. So now there are 2 entryways, and this was based on discussions and comments last week with our other departments that we work with.
Transportation and public safety.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So,
All right.
I know that the chair has recused herself from this, so the 2 commissioners, I actually think it would be a good idea if we went through every one of these conditions that is attached. And so it doesn't matter to me if you want Director Gardner to do it or I'll do it, but I think we need to make sure that it's clear.
All right. Do you want to read them? You're a professional speed reader. So.
Well, I am a professional speed reader, but I want to make sure am I reading from the right one? I want to make sure I have 16 conditions. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, here we go. 1, The site shall be developed in compliance with the collaborative residential subdivision zoning district if adopted. 2, the site shall be restricted not to exceed 87 lots. 3, should the rezoning applications be approved, the applicant shall submit a combination plat to the Department of Planning and Development to combine the parcels. 4, a mandatory homeowners association shall be established and shall be responsible for the maintenance of all common areas and facilities. 5, the homeowners association covenant shall include a rental restriction of 5% of all single-family residential dwelling units. 6, all recommendations made in the traffic impact study shall be reflected in the submittal for the land disturbance permit. 7, all single-family residential dwelling units shall have a 2-car garage. 8, provide a 5-foot sidewalk along at least one side of the proposed internal streets and along the front lines of all the CRS zone lots. Sidewalk shall be separated from the street curb by a tree lawn not less than 5 feet wide, planted with shade trees in accordance with the Rockdale County plant palette. 9, all grassed areas shall be sodded. 10, all utilities shall be placed underground. 11, natural vegetation shall remain on the property until the issuance of the development permit. 12, all sides of proposed buildings shall consist of brick, stone, cement siding, or real lath and Portland stucco from ground to eaves with brick, stone, cedar shake, real stucco, painted wood siding, or cement siding to be used as accents. Metal siding, vinyl siding, metal canopies, and exposed standard concrete blocks are prohibited. Soffits may be constructed of vinyl. 13, streetlights are to be provided along one side of every street, a minimum of 16 feet high and a maximum of 20 feet high if overhanging into the street and placed no more than 160 feet apart. 14, stormwater detention ponds shall be screened from the view of adjoining residential properties. Screening plans shall be subject to review and approval by the Director of Planning and Development. Number 15, any structures in the amenity areas shall be constructed using exterior building materials that complement the adjacent residential structures. The amenity areas may be in a single area or in multiple areas. Amenity areas shall be accessible by 5-foot wide concrete sidewalks. And 16, the triangular concrete island shall be constructed to allow left-hand turns in the property and designed to allow for right turn only for both entrances. Okay. Were there any other conditions to add?
No.
Okay.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? And I am abstaining. Okay. Thank you. So the motion carries.
All right.
Thank you, Director Gardner.
Okay. Item 421 is requisition through the General Services Department for LB Forester CXT, additional cost due to the price increase in freight, equipment, installation, and labor for relocating Ozark's single-unit restroom from Wheeler Park to Community Garden. The original...
Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Y'all could have waited just a minute. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Original purchase order amount is $14,490. This is to add $9,403 for the new purchase order amount of $23,893. This is SPLOST and impact fee funded. This is a budgeted item.
Madam Chair, I have some questions in reference to this one, please.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Same ones. Not really, but now I got the original PO, but it did not include the new restroom that's going to be there. It's just the PO is just about the move.
That's correct. Yes, so what this PO does, and the original PO and the change order, is just the escalation cost for 2 years of the original PO was issued in 2023, so they had escalation in 2024 and 2025. So that's the change order cost. The original purchase order is for them to disconnect electrical power, water, sewer from the existing restroom, have the crane assembled, lift the restroom up, put it on the flatbed truck, drive it to the new location, and then essentially reverse the process to have another crane, or the same crane will be relocated, it'll put it in this new spot, and then all the utilities connected again, water, sewer, electrical, and water, sewer, and electrical.
Okay, so I guess my question is, to be more clear, Where is the requisition for the new restroom?
Oh, the new restrooms. That's
other
a
three.
different purchase order that we have. It's also with CXT, or LB Foster is the
So there'll be
distributor.
additional costs. So we're just literally paying $24,000 just to move one restroom and not to
That's
pay
correct.
for a new 3 when to be replaced. Okay.
That's correct. The new restroom, the 4 bank of restrooms, that's an
Yes.
entirely different purchase order that was approved last year.
And where would that one go?
That'll go in the same spot as the
Where the
existing
one was.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're taking the one out and putting 4 to accommodate the additional, all the additional people that'll be at the park with the new amenities. When we installed the first one, we didn't have a master plan for Wheeler Park. There had been several master plans over the years, but we installed this first one specifically to serve the people that are going along the trail. And we picked a modular building for exactly this reason. If we ever did change the park and upgrade it, which is what we're doing now with all the new amenities and additional people, we could install new bathrooms, and this one would be repurposed. So that was kind of the reason for using the same model as the National Park Services and the state parks use this type of restroom for that specific reason. Instead of having to demolish it and waste all the money, we're able to repurpose it for about a quarter, maybe less of what it would cost to build a new restroom.
Okay. Yes, when I was at the lawn at Wheeler Park for the last concert, I looked around and I thought, there is one restroom for all these people.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not money that we necessarily want to spend, but with all of the, like you said, all of the new amenities, and almost every time I drive past the park there, the parking lot is full with, people are using all of the amenities.
But just in reference to what you just said, this is not for the new restroom. This is just a move. This is just to move it.
I understand. They have
Yeah,
to
but I
move
know
it
they
out
need to
put
have
the
it.
new one in there.
Right, yeah,
I mean,
but I'm
we
just saying, we don't know the
can't
price
put the
of
new one
it.
in there with 4 if we don't move this one.
Yeah, I got it.
So just to put that in perspective, if we were to build this restroom at another location, we'd spend $125,000. So by
Okay.
relocating it, we
Mhm.
are spending money, but we're saving $100,000 off of a new building that we're building.
All righty. Madam Chair, I move to approve this requisition as presented.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm opposed for the record.
So am
Thank you.
Exactly.
That's very expensive. But if we had other bids, that would be,
And I
certainly
thought
a
that we were
conversation.
supposed to be doing that, right? Or no?
So in this particular case, the restroom facility itself, that concrete structure, has a 20-year warranty on it, and we're 4
we
years
have to
into the
use it.
warranty. So if we used another company to move it, then it would void the warranty for the entire structure. So
Well, you
that's
should
what-
have said that
Uh,
at a prior meeting.
Yes.
That might have saved some time and energy.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you did mention that at the
Okay.
last meeting. but-
I thought I did, but I could have
Did.
clarified it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my apologies. I might have missed that then, but I'm still opposed.
Okay,
But thank
still
you.
opposed. All right, so, ready for the next item?
Yes.
Okay, item 423 is a requisition for the Water Resources Department for engineering strategies for improvement to the Almond Branch wastewater treatment plant. The amount is $82,900. This is through the Water Enterprise Fund and is a budgeted item.
I move to approve this requisition as presented.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And can we take some of these as a group
Yes.
for future? Okay,
Mhm.
that'd
All
be
right.
great.
The vote, all in favor?
Oh, all in favor?
All right.
I thought we
Oh,
were.
aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I thought we already
We did?
voted.
All right,
Yeah.
I apologize.
Okay.
Okay. So item 435 are actually 2 items we do need to take collectively together. Although one is an ordinance amendment and the other one is a policy, they go together. These are for the fees for the Planning and Development Department. There are some of their fees as they were looking to bring them in line. Some of the fees are in our ordinances. And so if we are good with these, you can take item A and then we can do item B, but do you need any explanations on the fees before? Okay. So item A is the text amendment case 2025-06, an ordinance to amend subpart A of the general ordinances of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended, to amend Chapter 10, alcoholic beverage licenses, Article 2, Division 1, Section 10-36C, the application forms, Chapter 42, environment, Division 2, regulation of vacant real property, Section 42-104, registration and renewal fees, Chapter 86, taxation, Article 2, Section 86-36 of the occupation tax levied, schedule and restriction, to provide for repeal of conflicting provisions, to provide for an adoption date and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading. The board can waive the second reading if it's unanimous. If you decide to waive the second reading this morning, I would ask that you approve it subject to final approval by the county attorney, just to make sure we have formatted it properly.
Okay. I move to approve the first reading and waive the second reading.
And to approve it
subject to final approval by our county attorney.
Thank you.
I second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Okay, and the adjoining piece to this is the policies for fees 2005-30-11 as amended for the Planning and Development Department.
I move to approve this policy as presented.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Okay, now we're down to new business, and if you would like, we can take these collective and I'll just keep reading until you
Yes.
stop me. Okay.
That would be great. Thank you.
Item 438 is with ADP through the Human Resources Department for the addition of screening services to master service agreement. This is change order number 3 to contract 2013-32. The amount is $14,736.38. It's a pay per use. This is for 3 years through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 439 is with Burgess Events to the Human Resources Department to provide rental goods and services for the Rockdale County Employee Appreciation and Benefits Fair at Johnson Park. The amount is $40,180.75. It's a single event on September 30th, 2025. This is funded through the Grant Wellness Fund and is a budgeted item.
Can I
It's on 13th.
clarify that it's September 13th?
Yes, September 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep going.
No, the event's September 13th, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Uh-huh, that's correct.
All right.
Okay. Item 440 is with All Pro Pest Services through the General Services Department. This is change order number 2 to contract 2023-188. This is a name change only to Peachtree Pest Control LLC. The annual cost to remain the same at $2,089 per month. Item 441 is with Pratt Recycling through the General Services Department. This is a rate increase for the dumpsters and carts. It's change order number 3 to contract 2022-118. It's a 2.873% rate increase, so an additional $5,506.84 per year. So the new total contract price is $737.72. This is through August 8, 2026. This is through the general fund and the water enterprise fund and the stormwater fund and is a budgeted item. Item 442 is with GTR Business Systems through the Clerk of Court's office for the date timestamp machine preventative maintenance agreement. The amount is $2,250 and the term is July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. Item 443 is with Snow Story Productions through the Parks and Recreation Department. This is for permission to use Costley Mill Park for filming. The amount is $4,250 in revenue. The dates are July 14th through the 18th, 2025, and is submitted for ratification. Item 444 is with the University of Georgia through the Extension Services for the annual contract renewal. The amount is $112,500. The term is July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. This is through the general fund and is a budgeted item. We'll stop right here. So that will be items 438 through 444, with 443 being a ratification.
So I move to approve items for the contracts for items 440 through 444 and ratify contract 443.
So items 438 is where we started.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay, let me say it again.
All right.
I move to approve the contracts for items 438 through 444 with the ratification of contract 443.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second for those presentations. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion's carried.
Item 445 is a requisition through the General Services Department for Face and Sons Electric for underground electrical work at Wheeler Park for the splash pad, pickleball courts, and amphitheater. The amount is $148,354.89. This is impact fee and splash funded and is a budgeted item.
So,
And I will
Okay.
say on this one, it connects all the services out on
Okay.
the lawn so that it
Okay.
has a unified system. That's why we've had lights out there. They just weren't connected till it was all
Okay.
complete. So
Okay.
it's
I
for the
got it.
things to
Thank
come.
you.
Yes. Okay.
so shall we take that one separately?
Are we,
Yes.
I move to approve this
Okay.
requisition as presented.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And item 446 is a resolution of approval for privatization of misdemeanor probation services for the Superior Court and State Court of Rockdale County.
Separate? Are we going? Okay. Madam Chair, I move to approve this resolution as presented.
I need more information.
Morning.
Commissioners.
In particular, this resolution is before you really as a formality. The company that serves Rockdale County and misdemeanor probation services has overseen a change in leadership at the courthouse. So we got a new Superior Court Chief Judge and a new State Court Judge. The contract endures as it has, but for housekeeping purposes, when they're dealing with the state, they actually have to have the principals who are in office on their form. So this is more housekeeping than it is substantive.
So it's not a new company, it's just
No.
a change in who the contract name is on there.
To recognize the new Superior Court Chief Judge,
Very
new
good.
as of January 1st, and the State Court
Okay.
Chief Judge as well. The substance of the contract hasn't changed at all.
Very good.
Okay. Thank you. I second the motion.
Well, and
All
even,
right.
even before you vote, and also I should add, both the Superior Court Chief Judge and the State Court Chief Judge approved this contract.
Okay, that's very good.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 The motion carries.
So item 447 is rezoning case 2025-04, and before I read it out, I want to explain something to the board. So you probably remember this case as it was presented at the last zoning public hearing, and one of the requests is that the applicant would consider office institutional O&I. So he has, and he's willing to do that. So what I would like to do is to amend the way that I'm reading this out, and we have the amended staff report and that kind of thing. So what you would be considering this morning, even though the applicant talked about commercial, he would like to consider to go from R1 to O&I, which of course is acceptable if you choose to adopt something like that as a lower zoning category. So I'm going to read it out as such. So item 444 is rezoning case 2025-04, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia, as amended by rezoning 1955 Flat Shoals Road from R1 Single Family Residential District to the O&I Office Institutional District, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
So I move to approve the second reading and adopt the ordinance as presented.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second, but is for questions. Can we just clarify for uses that it cannot be a gas station or a convenience store?
Let me look at the conditions, because if not, we will have to put it in there.
And there's
Yeah,
a gas station
I
across the
don't see
street.
anything
right?
attached as a condition, just the site plan.
Okay.
So, Madam Chair, with this discussion, I think that was centered around us looking at C1 zoning, but since now it's going down to O and I. If you remember, properties surrounding this particular parcel in the south and on the east side were also zoned O and I. So based on that, that's why we stepped down to O and I, number one. And with O and I, with the intent, looking at the different nodes that we have been exploring, we will be looking at more office related businesses, seeing that there are like professional offices in that surrounding area.
Very good. Thank you, Director.
So, in other words, just to clarify, there's no reason to place a condition because O&I doesn't allow gas stations, correct?
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure we're clear.
Or convenience
Or
stores.
convenience stores, is that correct? Okay. Just want to make sure that's right.
Will you
Got it.
note that for the record?
I will
for me,
note it.
please? Okay, thank you. All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Okay, item 448 is an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended to authorize a special use permit for 3601 Georgia Highway 212 Southwest for recreational and vacation campsite, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
Madam Chair, I move to deny this ordinance as presented.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Item 2025-449, text amendment case 2025-08, an ordinance amending Article 2 of Chapter 328 and Title 3 of Subpart B of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia, providing updates to the Rockdale County Landscaping and Tree Protection and Replacement Ordinance. This is submitted for a second reading.
I move to approve the second reading and adopt the ordinance.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. And I do want to mention that I am very excited about this as we continue to step forward in our tree canopy preservation in Rockdale County. So we hope this is a great help to us moving forward to prevent clear cutting. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. So item 450 is text amendment case 2025-09, an ordinance to amend section 214-7 of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia as amended, and incorporate section 214-14 to become and be made part of the Code of Rockdale County, Georgia, so as to establish minimum architectural design standards for residential uses, to provide for an effective date and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
All right, and if I may have Rebecca come to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning,
morning.
Madam Chair, Commissioners. Rebecca Kiefer with CPL. I'm presenting on behalf of Rockdale County today. I'll present just a brief summary of the ordinance where it is today, the adjustments that have been made between first and second read, as well as I want to correct some misinformation from the zoning public hearing, as well as some of the submitted documentation in that time. So first, by allowing the moratorium to, the initial moratorium to expire and allow single lot development to move through, there was conversations about understanding the exposures of that, not having the new ordinance in place. And so as a potential solution to that, the patch ordinance is what we've been calling it, was an offered option. And so I did want to, while BOC members of the staff are well aware, I just wanted to make sure the members of the public were aware that it is clear that this is kind of a draft ordinance that has been used before and was used as kind of a menu of options that we could push and pull from while the actual UDO rewrite is being conducted, since this is kind of separate and distinct from that. These regulations represent various architectural material and on-site requirements, and those are intended to be in place in the meantime while the ordinance is being drafted, but while those single lot developments are allowed to kind of move forward through the process. So for one material correction, I think there was stated that all brick was a requirement and on all 4 sides, and that was never proposed as part of these regulations. Also, there was never a requirement for a specific paint manufacturer in the color palette. Rather, there was a reference palette, and it was actually explicitly stated that other palettes could be used, just this would be used as a reference for that. Likewise, I want to clarify that when it's indicated that no such records exist in accordance with the Open Records Act, that does not mean that those records don't exist in the world, just that the county does not have possession of them. So as a matter of fact, the National Association of Home Builders has a study that collected survey data from home builders to identify the cause for housing increases, and found that around 23% is related to government regulation. So I can break that down for you just a little bit. 10% is related to, it was cited as to be related to development. So that's the horizontal construction component. And as we relate that to government regulation, that's EPD, FEMA, Army Corps of Engineer regulations and requirements and permitting. The cost of rezoning, fees and studies required, and dedications at that time. So the other 13% is for the vertical construction, so the actual structure. Some of those are attributed to fees. 6% is attributed to changes in the building code regulations. So those are promulgated by the state and the ICC nationally. And architectural regulations actually account in their study for less than 3% of that percentage attributed to government regulation. So while there are notable increases based on government regulation and housing affordability issues are not caused, nor are they going to be solved by the omission or not adopting architectural regulations. These are incremental. These are not the primary driver of housing affordability issues for neither Rockdale nor peer communities. So architectural regulations are a legitimate and constitutional use of the zoning powers that allow local control and of quality and aesthetics. So we will look in the actual UDO rewrite at some of these drivers for housing affordability and address those. So now that I've kind of gone through some of the most kind of egregious instances, I want to turn back to kind of how the draft has adjusted between the first and second read. So first, we've cleaned up and refined some regulations just to support better interpretation. Worked with Council for Quality Growth to address all 6 of their objections, and I can run through those really quickly. 36-inch water table, that's been reverted back to the 18 to 24-inch dimension. The exterior color requirements, we've just stricken the color palette in favor of just some prohibitions on fluorescent and neon colors. Garage requirements for front and side loaded garages, that's been stricken. Facade design requirements have either been greatly reduced or stricken, as well as eliminating the percentage window fenestration for some legitimate concerns over the constructability of that. And then remove the requirement for roofs to be over porches to kind of count as the porch requirement. So essentially, the draft that's in front of you now is it represents kind of a pretty substantial reduction in actual architectural regulation, as more so of a material and screening regulation, as kind of a minimum set of standards that are in front of you that you can adopt in this interim stage. And it provides kind of a balance of setting those minimum standards while also giving additional time to be able to dive into the actual, Rockdale specific regulations that you want to consider.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you.
So are you saying this is just a draft that
for you for adoption today?
It's temporary,
until the
right?
rest
But
of
yes,
the
and so
UDO gets
it
completed.
would only affect anything moving forward.
That's correct.
That had started
that had not
before
been
the
previously
moratorium.
vested. Yeah, if it was previously
and
vested.
then would also apply to single family single lot
Yeah,
construction.
because everything else is still covered by the moratorium. So it's just
Right.
the single lot that is in the revised moratorium. Those have been kind of released to be able to proceed once this expiration of the current moratorium.
So a
50
private land owner typically,
Right.
like one
Right.
home.
Right.
Or if they've already got, if it's a developer and they've already got it platted and they have individual lots, those as well would be regulated under this and could proceed after the moratorium.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, should I have a motion and a second?
Well,
We didn't do that yet.
No vote yet.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing yet.
Madam Chair, I move to approve this second reading and adopt this ordinance as presented.
Thank you.
I second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries.
All right. Item 451 is an ordinance amending Article 6 of Chapter 6 in Part 1 of the Code of Ordinances of Rockdale County regarding an update to the Public Defender's Office to provide an effective date to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading, and I will remind the board, if it's unanimous, you may waive the second reading.
Okay.
I move to approve the first reading, waive the second reading, and adopt the ordinance as presented.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries.
Mm-hmm.
Item 452 is an ordinance to amend the text of Subpart B, Planning and Development of the Code of Ordinances of Rockdale County, Georgia, as amended, so as to amend Title II, Land Use and Zoning, Chapter 218, Use Regulations, Article 4, Telecommunication Facilities, Section 218-22Q, Application Requirements and Standards, to provide for repeal of conflicting ordinances, to provide for an adoption date, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a first reading. This also goes along with fees that are being revised in the Planning and Development Department. However, these fees are located in Subpart B of the code, which is a Unified Development Ordinance, and it has to go through the public hearing process.
Okay. Madam Chair, I move to approve this first reading and refer this ordinance to the Planning Commission as presented.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Item 453 is surplus of equipment, and as a reminder, the website for surplus is www.govdeals.com. We have items from the Parks and Recreation, Senior Services Division, Juvenile Court, Finance Department, and the Magistrate Court.
I move to declare these items as surplus as presented.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
So item 454, I wanted to make some clarifications before we start moving through these items. On C, under fire rescue, 4, lieutenant needs to be at a grade 42, and number 5, sergeant needs to be at a grade 41. So with that said, item 454 are updates to the Rockdale County Employee Classification and Pay Plan through the Human Resources Department. Would you like to take this item all together, or do you want me to read through all these?
You
No.
mean just 454?
Yeah, you can just take it. You can just summarize. That's fine.
Okay, so item 454 are updates provided by the Human Resources Department for the Employee and Classification Pay Plan through Human Resources Department, the Sheriff's Office, Fire Rescue, and the Finance Department.
Madam Chair, I move to approve these updates to the classifications and pay plan as presented.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Okay, item 455 is a budget amendment request to the Sheriff's Office for the general fund to transfer from contingency to salaries and benefits for workforce investment plan to cover the remaining 7 pay periods. The amount is $233,799.
I move to approve this budget amendment request as presented.
Madam Chair, I second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Okay, item 456 is to the Human Resources Department for policy updates. I have a minor revision I would like to make as well on this one. We had submitted yesterday for an agenda change to move the motor vehicle accident appeals process under new policies. That's actually a new policy. But we will go through these. Do you want to go through these collectively or all together? If so, I'll just sum it up.
It's a summary.
Okay, so item 456 would be through the Human Resources Policy Updates, and it would be as follows. Amendments would be for the separation policy, fire and rescue incentive program, inclement weather policy, administrative offices, travel per diem and mileage policy, FMLA, the Family Medical Leave Act, nepotism policy, and PTO paid time off policy. B would be to repeal the current sick leave policy effective January 1st, 2026. New policies would be outside employment policy, Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA policy, Safety and Incident Accident Review Committee policy, and then a motor vehicle accident appeals process policy.
So I have a question. What is the start date for the PTO paid time off policy? The effective date of that?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Madam Chair, Commissioners. Right now, it is before you with a ratification date of September 1st, 2025 to take effect. That's what's before you this afternoon, I'm sorry.
I have another question though. In reference to the PTO and the sick leave policy, is it possible to defer that for some negotiation, or do you want to do it here, or you want to do it in private?
No, we can do it here.
All right. All right. So, go ahead.
So do you want to start with the PTO or the sick leave first?
PTO.
Okay.
Well, it's listed first. My question was, as far as when it's the percentage that you're getting, if you're under a year of employment, it would be 0%. And then it was the 1 to.
No, you earn hours per paycheck
Yes.
in your first year.
If you're under a year from 0 to.
Right. I know that's what it is.
4 hours.
And that's what it would be.
Okay. So I'm just giving you my proposals.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. 1 to 5 years would be 50%, and 5 or more would be 75% that you would get. And for the sick leave policy, I'm wondering if we could consider giving them 3 days as opposed to taking away all 5.
So the 5 days that we're talking about were given during the pandemic as an addition to the sick days that they already have built into their PTO. So many years ago, they combined sick days and vacation days into one, so it would be easier for them to track. And so I know that the separated sick days right now were paid for through the ARPA funds, and the ARPA funds ended last year, 2024. And so we don't have a funding stream dedicated for those. And so the pandemic's over, and therefore the purpose originally was just for the pandemic itself. So the sick days that they have are combined with their vacation days in the PTO time, and that's why it's such a rich benefit now. So all of that would remain in place. In addition, the county employees get 13 federal holidays and 2 floating holidays. So they can use that time off any way they want.
Madam Commissioner, do you mind repeating what you said about the PTO? I didn't hear what you said. You had the percentages listed there.
Yes, it was under a year, or under a year, you didn't get any of that, the percentage payout. And then 1 to 5 is 50, and then 5 and more, you get 75%.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Well, do you want to take these one at a time, maybe, or?
Can we take them all collectively except the one in question?
Yeah, well, I guess, are there one or
Okay.
two in question? The
Two.
PTO and the...
I don't have any.
So on
It's
the, on
two.
the PTO, what were the original percentages?
Currently, right now, if you are with, and you're talking about the payout, correct?
The payout.
Okay. So right now, if you have been with the county for under 5 years, you receive 75% of your PTO balance. Once you hit the 5-year mark, then you receive 100% of your PTO balance at payout.
And what do you get at 0 to 1 years? Just
It's 75%
75.
if you've been here for more than 90 days.
And your proposal is what? That it would move from 75 to what?
50.
Oh, okay. Under a year.
75
You
to
don't get a
0,
payout under a
so-
year.
Can you?
I wrote down that her proposal is between 1 to 5, 50%, and 5 or more, 75%. That's what she's
But she
proposing.
said 0 to 1% would be 0.
0 to 1 would be 0%. Okay,
And
that's the
it's
proposal.
currently 75%.
It's currently 75%.
Currently, over 5 years is 100%.
Correct.
Yes.
I definitely want to entertain that conversation. Do we want to take the rest of it
You want to do that
separately?
now?
Yeah.
So I believe the items would be A, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, A, 1 through 6, and C, 1 through 4, and then, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
You want to take those now?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I move to approve amendments under Part A, 1 through 6, and Part C, 1 through 4, and to defer Part B, number 8 of Part A, which is technically number 7, and then B1.
Well, do you want to, I guess my question is, do you want to debate the PTO and SIC this morning, or do you
Yeah.
want to defer them to the next meeting? Because if so, you could adopt the items that you agree on right now.
Correct.
And then
That's what
open
I
the
wanna
floor
do.
for the others. Okay, so how about an amended motion to approve A 1 through 6 and C 1 through 4, and then we'll take up those other two.
Okay. I move to approve amendments A 1 through 6 and C 1 through 4.
Excellent.
Has been presented.
I second the motion.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
So now we'll take up A7 PTO.
Which is the harder one?
Huh?
Which is the harder one?
So,
I presented it.
so I move to defer item A7 and B1. Are those the ones?
No.
It will be number 8.
So
All right, the motion fails right now. So let me make a motion that we defer item A7 to the next meeting
Okay.
and proceed today with item B1 in conversation.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
To
The motion.
To-
So we would now discuss.
Discussing. Okay, yes,
the
that's
six-
fine.
So we are,
Yes, let's do that.
you are deferring A7 to the next board meeting and and opening up discussion on B1.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. So B1, well, we had a motion, a second.
All in
Vote,
favor
yeah.
say,
Yeah, it was
we
aye.
already did that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the motion carries.
Now we're at B1. There we go.
Correct.
So we're deferring A7.
Yes.
Correct.
Now we're going to talk about B1.
Correct.
Got it.
All right. And so that's simply restoring the policy that was in place before the pandemic back to its original place. And since the ARPA funds are no longer part of the funding mechanism that we get. So right now we're spending anticipated year to date, it's around a little over 600,000. It's anticipated to be around 900,000 by the end of the year. So starting in January, this sick leave policy would go away, and people would just use their PTO any way they want to use it. And that would give them, whether they're sick or time off or whatever, that gives them the opportunity to plan accordingly. And so my understanding is that it also would be beneficial to the fire department and sheriff's department and their planning purposes to help reduce overtime.
I have a question in reference to that. Is that something that can be separated from, just say, for instance, the fire and first responders have their own policy?
They do not. The sheriff's
Is that possible to do that?
The sheriff's office, it is possible to do that. With the fire rescue, they actually do fall up under our policy as it pertains to PTO.
Okay, so it is possible to have a separate.
Well, the sheriff's office can because he's a constitutional officer.
Okay.
Yes, but if we were to write out something separate, that still would have to be approved by the Board of Commissioners for the fire department.
And I will note for the record that the sheriff is looking at having an evaluation done for some of the work that's being done at the sheriff's department right now. So that probably would provide more information for them separately.
Okay, so I guess I would rather see that first before we.
Well, that could be months for that company to do the work. And if we pass this and then they decide to make recommendations, it could be changed. So.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve the repeal of the sick leave policy from COVID timeframe.
Effective January 1st.
Effective January 1st, 2026, yes.
And I second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed?
I oppose this.
Okay. The motion carries.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So at this time, if there's any board comments. We have to leave, right?
I have about 5 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Gotta go.
I have to leave, yes, and I'm
Yes.
so sorry. But I'll let you finish
Oh,
the
no,
meeting.
go ahead. I mean, Tuesdays I usually have my schedule open because I know it lasts forever, but okay. Y'all have to go.
I have a flight
Go
to
ahead.
catch.
Do you have any comments that you want to say?
Yes, I do. We have the I just want to remind everybody of the constituent liaison services with Congressman David Scott's office on Friday at the library from 10 to 12. And also we have a shredding event through KCRB that's going to be on September 27th. And it's for Rockdale County residents only. It's from 9 to 1 at Wheeler Park, 1400 Parker Road. And there are items. You can also bring not only just paper items to be shredded, but you can bring electronics. And there is a list of accepted and not accepted items that will be on our website, the KCRB website.
Okay, thank you.
And I will just say that the 7th annual Nonprofit Appreciation Brunch will be September 25th at 10 a.m. out at Costley Mill Park. And there's a QR code to reserve your spot. Jeff Beach will be our keynote speaker. I couldn't think of anybody who portrayed and represented the theme this year better than Jeff, celebrating community collaboration and impact. So it's an opportunity to recognize how important and the important work that all of our nonprofits do, which I think we got a really good view of that this morning from Restoration Storehouse from Dr. Hughes. That was good. I was able to attend a cancer screening health fair this last weekend. That was held at My Milk and Money, and it was well attended, and the vendors that were there were really articulate in the services that they provide, and were busy working with different people who had come to take advantage of the services. And then also last week was our Georgia Recovers bus tour. We were excited to have them stop in Rockdale 2 years in a row now. Georgia Recovers September is Recovery Month, which I think blends with Pain Management Month, because sometimes the pain is emotional and underlies some of those addiction issues and mental health issues. And that was well attended, and we presented a proclamation to them. I do have the opportunity to attend the what's it called? The Behavioral Health and Crisis Intervention Peer Exchange, starting tomorrow morning in Richmond, Virginia. And Rockdale County has 2 people going, me and one of our peer specialists that works with the court system, who's also works with NAMI. And as I looked over the list of people that were attending this NACO-sponsored event, they chose people from 20 different counties across the country. Alinda is the only peer specialist that was invited to attend, which I think says another thing about Rockdale County, that we have embraced our peers, understand how important the work is that they do, that we can't do if we haven't been there, don't have the lived experience. So I'm excited for that.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I'll call the meeting to adjournment. Thank you so much for attending today. I appreciate you.